Hi guys, it's me again. So you know how my last video I said more videos would come soon? Well, it turned out to be a big old lie, didn't it? Sorry. I always want to wait to do these videos where I actually have something to talk about. You know, like something that's happened to me. I don't get too political on this channel. I don't plan to, and most current affairs currently aren't affecting me, except for, we're all in forced vacation. So with that in mind, I figured, hey, what better time than to update my 20 or so followers who are still following me, probably forgot to unsubscribe, about my life. So yeah, it's been about a year. And 1 year ago, actually 1 year ago almost to the day, I came out to my family. Like, all of them. So that's the big news. That's what started this whole thing. Like, if you notice, my last video is Transgender Day of Visibility. And the previous night before, I was in the hospital with my dad. That's a whole thing. So, I was in the hospital with him. I figured, I could tell him now, and if I tell him now, he's got heart monitors, he's got machines, and he's got nurses, in case he falls out, or has a heart attack, and if he tries to attack me, he can't really move too fast with all the machines plugged into him. So, that was my line of thinking. So, I come out, told my dad first, which he was an idiot. He didn't immediately disown me. He still said you're still always going to be my son, and kept thinking I was gay and afraid of women, which makes no sense because I want to be a woman, I am a girl, just not out really physically at the moment. So yeah, he was stupid and he doesn't understand biology or how the brain works. To be fair, not a lot of people do, but he is more than most doesn't know. So, this is more like a trial run to see how he would react. Because the main person I was concerned about telling was my mom. And so after I told him, it was just me and him in the hospital. He was, ironically, before I told him, he was giving me information on how to be a man. This is what a man needs to do, this is, how a man lives, and by the way, all of it was supremely old and outdated, and some of it is good, just general, take care of your family, they come first kind of stuff, yeah, that's good. Too bad you never did that, but anyway, yeah, so I went home, showered, shaved, all that. And about a week before, I didn't come out, but my mom knew I was being a model for my friend who was a makeup artist and hairdresser, and still currently is employed as a hairdresser. Well, technically a barber, because it's an anybody's thing, but he does hair, he does men's, women's, doesn't matter. But anyway, on that note, before all this, before he got that job, I was his business card, essentially. He would do my makeup, he would do my hair, and we'd go out to the club, and I was basically his walking billboard. And I would say things I'd have my before picture and everything, look how I looked before, if you can make me pretty, think of what he can do to you, So that was my line, and it got him a few calls, and I don't understand why people don't want to pay. You're not gonna trade DVDs for a dye job, lady. You're just crazy, okay? Anyway, it's a different story. So, that, like I said, that previous week she found out. Well, I told her. There was a heated discussion before that, unrelated, where I stayed in a hotel for 2 days, not speaking to any of them, and just drinking myself into oblivion because I had just enough money to stay one more night in the hotel. So, she called me up. We had this thing that we always did, where every Sunday night, because this was back when we had TV, we'd watch Monk on USA, or whatever channel it was on Sunday. They had a Monk marathon. So, she called me up, said, "Are we going to watch Monk together?" I said, "Okay." It's very, just like that, just, okay. And, well, I had already had my face made up, my hair done, like, better than this. This is just me, like, putting it in a ponytail. I had a cute little curls. I had it in curls. I had my makeup on, which Josie, of course, did. Josie's my friend who I was a walking billboard for. So, like, she knew he was a drag queen for a long time. Like, first time she met him, he was in drag. And he came over to watch RuPaul's Drag Race, so, you know, it's kind of like when people put on the jerseys before they watch football. Like, of course, you look better. Like, that's what my mom says. You look better than most of the people on the show, so. So, anyway, I know I keep backtracking and digressing, but I basically came over to the house that night, wearing makeup, wearing my curls, girls' clothes, and just, like, I stood there, and she's like, "Okay." And we watched Monk, a couple, like, 4 or 5 episodes. Which, if you don't know that, they're like 45-minute to an hour long shows. Like, well, they're an hour if you have commercials, which we did. So 5 hours I just sat there behind her, because that's the way our living room was set up at the moment. It was like her chair, my chair, Rachel's chair. We was all in like a weird row, so we could see the TV. But anyway, sat there, and after it was done, about midnight, I basically stood in front of her like that and asked her what she thought. And she said, "Well, you look like the daughter I never had." So I was like, "Oh, thank you." I took it as a compliment because the point was to look like a woman. That's what Josie always said. Like, he said if I was a drag queen, he'd do my makeup differently. But because I'm a woman, he's gonna do it the right way, essentially, and like subtle and not garish, which it wasn't. I mean, like, it's hard to do eyeshadow on my eyes, so you kind of have to overdo it a little bit just to get them noticed and to get it done right, really. So she was alright with that, and it was the next week was pretty tense, and found out my dad was in the hospital for surgery for his lungs. Like, okay, so this is time. I told my dad. Anyway, so back home, showered, shaved. Wore something pretty, like I have a pretty top. Like, I don't know why I keep. I don't know why I'm giving these details. But basically, yes, I was wearing women's clothes. Like, I hadn't worn women's clothes for like 6 months at that point. Like, I had enough where I could dress every day how I wanted. And I had some that were just very clearly female, and some that was like, that's kind of strange, like for a boy to wear. But anyway, came over, no makeup, because, well, no wait, no, I didn't do makeup, because I expected to cry, mostly, and also because I was still terrible at my makeup. I'm not great at it now, but I'm a lot better than I was. So, I tell her what's going on with me. I tell her that I'm a girl, and I've always felt this way, and I prayed to God to fix it, to change it, to I don't know, like every birthday wish I ever had was to be a girl, you know? So I explained all that to her, and the fact that I was bi, so, you know, double whammy. I didn't leave anything unturned, you know? Like, she cried for a couple of seconds, like half a minute maybe. And because she thought it was something she did wrong. I had to explain to her, no, it wasn't. It's just who I am. It's just how I was born. And the only way to fix it is to transition. I told her I was on estrogen already for a couple of months at that point. It's been over a year now. So after a few minutes, she accepted it. You know, we hugged. She said she wasn't jumping for joy or anything, but she accepts me. Like, she said that I'm still her child. And my dad basically still went on his crap, saying, you know, that we ain't gonna disown you just because you're gay, son. Like, my mom, I had to correct him, saying, I'm not gay, I'm bisexual. I like both. And I told her I'm not gay, I'm bisexual. She says, you always did do everything half-ass. And just, we laughed. That killed me, because, like, that was our relationship before. We teased each other, picked on each other. I pick on her for being short. She picks on me for being a bitch, that kind of stuff, you know. It's just how it's always been. So I started crying a little bit because, like, it let me know our relationship wasn't going to change. The good parts, at least. Like, I didn't lose her. So after I told her my name, my real name, you know, Jennifer. And I'm trying to do this without crying. That's why I keep pausing. It's my mom didn't call me Jennifer right away. She called me Jessica. She called me Jean. She didn't call me a boy's name though. She finally got it right on Jennifer. And I started crying. And she starts crying and says, I'm sorry, I'm trying. And I'm like, that's not why I'm crying. I'm crying because you're trying. Most people don't have that. Most people don't have that immediate acceptance. Like, I'll admit I'm lucky, like, with that. Because could have gone very differently. Especially with her. So I have my mom. And over the time, she got used to calling me Jennifer. You know, she stopped screwing up every now and again. Because, like, she's known me that way my entire life. So it's hard for her to switch. It's hard for everybody to switch. You gotta understand that. If you're going through that and you come out and your parents mess up from time to time, or just your friends or family, you gotta cut them some slack. Because they've known you one way for a very long time. Just keep correcting them nicely. Unless, if they correct themselves, you know, just be nice about it and be good about it, and they'll get there, you know. So I didn't lose my mom. I lost my dad. I didn't lose him to this. I lost him to cancer. I mean, it's a big surprise. He was in the hospital. He was in the hospital several times, which is probably going to be a video of itself, because that's a long story. So anyway, so that's what started off my last year. Well, I know it was like in March, but for me that was the new year. That was when my 2019 began, you know, so and that's when everything started kicking off. And like, I went home called Josie, told him to come on over, and we got drunk. Super drunk. like you wouldn't believe. We went to the club, and, I celebrated, and I had some friends that go to the club every week, and I informed them of the good news because the week prior they also thought I was going to be living out of my car. So one of them offered to let me stay in their house for a while if things don't get better, and so I had to let her know that things got better. And that was my friend Tess. So she was happy, Josie was happy, I was happy. We were all drinking like mad. Went over to Tess's house, met her dog, Ripley. Just had a great time listening to her stories, talking, and drinking wine, having pizza, just all that. So I go home like the next day, and I'm just so dead. And the next day is the Transgender Day of Visibility. And they're doing something in the park. Their first Transgender Day of Visibility in the park in Mississippi. So Josie's like, hey, why don't we go? Why don't we go to, go there and, celebrate? It's like, okay, just stop talking so loud. And I'm just like, I'm just dying. I'm still just so dead. So I leave the house with a bag of crackers. So I go there, and I'm just like, I'm wearing the same clothes I did the night before, a jacket because it's freezing, and I'm just like slowly eating crackers, trying not to throw up on all these random people. I'm meeting people from the ACLU, and from the some trans rights organizations here in Mississippi. I'm just like, I hope I don't throw up on you. It's just like in my head, like, don't throw up, just. So I managed to get through it without throwing up, but there is like a 2 to 3 second clip of me on the news, hungover as shit, and just like standing next to this tall drag queen, just trying not to die. It was just hilarious, and it was just such a weird 24 hours for me. And like the next week I told my brother. Well, that night, after I told my parents, I went on Facebook, told all my family, and my family was all accepting. My mom's side. My dad's side was obviously, piece of crap, because crap comes from crap. You gotta break the cycle or you're just gonna become part of it, and he didn't break that cycle. So, one of my cousins started talking to me, and because she heard through the grapevine about me coming out as bi and trans. And she's a lesbian who has a wife. And we got started talking about stuff, and because my mom's side, both my parents' sides are super conservative Christians, Republicans. So all the bad things that these people are supposed to be. And she was telling me how my mom's side accepted her eventually. It took a while, I think, but they came to her wedding, they accepted her wife, and she's closer to her family, and she's no worse off for coming out. And she took that risk and that plunge, and it worked out too. So that next Saturday, with everybody else in the family knowing, I had to go tell my brother. My brother is a born-again Christian. So I had to tell him, even though I kind of been dropping the same hints to him that I have with my mom about trans stuff. So I told him that I was transgender. Like, he never showed any signs. I was like, because every single girl in our family is a tomboy, even Mama, or my mom. I call her Mama. So I was raised by a tomboy, so of course I'm gonna be a tomboy. You know, like, I'm wearing a dress right now, but I rarely wear them, honestly. Otherwise, I'm just like in jeans and a comic book T-shirt. You know, that's usually what I wear. Like, my fashion sense didn't really change all that much. So I tried to explain to him how I was the same person. I was just a girl. He's like, no, you're not a girl. Like, okay, but I am. And like, there's this science, and like, there's biology, and I try to explain chromosomes and karyotypes and the brain structure, gray matter, white matter, all that crap, and it just didn't matter to him. Because God said this. I'm like, okay, but God also puts challenges in front of us. Like, how do you know this isn't a challenge? He says, yeah, it is a challenge for you to overcome it and resist the temptations. I'm like, well, fucking hell. So that sparked, like, a month-long argument with me and him. And I stopped talking to him for 6 months. Because he refused. I gave him another chance. I went back to see him. He still did that same crap. He called me up. He's like, I want you to watch this documentary about this trans woman. I was like, oh, okay. And I thought, you know, maybe he's starting to accept things, you know? It was about a trans woman who detransitioned back to male after he found God. So, that's what he wanted me to do. This was like a week before Christmas at this point. And that just royally pissed me off and hurt me. That he honestly tried to trick me that way. And I'd also read my Christmas card, which my family, which Rachel and my mom had hidden from me, with good reason, because on the envelope, the little, you know, had my dead name. So that right away was bad. So I opened the card, did it 3 more times, called me brother, and quoted passages from the Bible to save my soul. And I'm reading this on the phone with her, and I'm like, you know what, you can go to hell. I told him, you're going to go to hell. I might go to hell, but you're for sure going to hell. You're not saving my soul. You're just being a piece of crap. You're doing exactly the opposite of what the Bible would tell you. You're not being a good person. So I hung up from him, and I have not spoken to him since. And I don't plan to speak to him anytime soon, because some people you do have to cut out of your life, unfortunately. They're not always going to be good. They're not always going to accept you. It's something you have to prepare for as well. Even if you think they'll accept you, like I thought my brother would accept me. Because, like, for a while, when this, like, 2-month-long argument or so that we had, I had a boyfriend at that time. And he didn't mind hearing about him. Right? So, even though I'm going to hell at double speed for not only being trans, but also bisexual. A greedy bisexual at that. Despite me being a strict monogamous, I've never had 3 ways. I've never done that sort of thing. I never cheated. Like, I've been cheated on, and it's terrible, and I wouldn't do that to somebody. So, like, hell, when I was dating my ex, someone at the club kissed me, and I was freaking out all night, because, like, I didn't want to be kissed by this person. I was literally in the middle of talking, not even about anything sexual or flirtatious. I was just talking about, I think, TV or movies, I think. And dude just leaned in and kissed me, and I'm like, don't do that. Like, I have a boyfriend. Like, so I never spoke to that person again either. I told my boyfriend the next day, and he was fine with it. He laughed and like, I know you wouldn't do that. I know you didn't do that to me. And like, he said he thinks it's cute. I was freaking out, and that I would be honest and upfront about it. And I'm like, really? Because I've been tossing and turning all night, thinking if I wait any longer, I'm gonna be a liar. You know, so it was like the first thing I told him the next morning, because I didn't get home until like 3 a.m. and he was already in bed. So, but we did end up breaking up because he accused me of cheating because I deleted messages from Facebook. It's stupid. Like, that is the dumbest reason. So, fuck it. You know, like, start dating when you're trans. Start dating in general, let's be honest, but when you're trans, that's like on like expert mode, you know, like it's rare to find somebody that'll like me the way I look, and it's even rarer to find somebody who will like me for even though I'm trans. I was on a lot of dating websites for a while. I got rejected, of course, when they find out I'm trans. Some were terrible people. Some were jackasses. But this one dude was hilarious. like it was so funny. It didn't even upset me that he was turning me down. So like in my profile, I always put somewhere that I'm trans. Like I don't put it as the headline, because if you do that, you'll get chasers. You'll get people who just want you for being trans, and I don't want that. So I put it somewhere like towards the middle, and like my little about me, because it's not the first thing that's about me. It's not the most important. It's probably the biggest deal breaker for most people, and I can understand that. So I'm 6 foot tall. That's tall for a girl. That's fairly tall for a guy. Like most guys are around 5'10", 5'11", and I'm taller than most of them. And that upsets me. And which is why I like hanging out with tall people, especially Josie. He's 6'2", makes me feel short. I'm like, yes. So, anyway, I also had that in my profile, right? Because it asked you your height, all that. We started messaging, and like, he was nice and funny. Like, I love humor. Like, the funny you are, like, oh my god. So, he's like, oh, by the way, I know, and I'm okay with it. And I'm like, you're okay with it? And I'm like, oh my god, this is great. He's funny, handsome, got muscles for days, and he's okay with it, you know, like, jackpot. Says, yeah, I'm okay with it. I was like, you're okay, I'm trans? It's like, you're trans? It's like, well, what are you okay with? It's just, I mean, about the height. Sorry, I already got a dick, I don't want another. And that was just it. Like, he blocked me, and I'm like, that's the funniest rejection I've ever gotten. And it just, like, I'm not even upset at that dude. Like, you're funny, man, more power to you. If you don't like trans people, like, that way, as long as you're not a piece of crap to them, go ahead. Like, it's a preference, you know? Like, some guys into it, some guys not. So, yeah. I think I'm going to stop this video here, because there's other topics I'm going to discuss. Because like I said, a lot has happened, and I've made it through this recording without crying. There are, well, 3 other ones that are about 2 hours long, detailing everything, which I have not made it through without crying, so bye for now. I will make more, because I'm probably going to record the next one now. So if you see me in the same dress, don't say anything. Okay? Let's all just be mature, and yes, that was my problem. Okay.